Hello and welcome to another episode of DSU Inside Perspective. I'm Carlos Holmes, and this is the show where we talk with faculty, staff, students, and guests about some of the things that are going on in the world or some of the great things that are going on here at Delaware State University. Today we're going to talk about Delaware State University's new One Policy, One Process document, which deals with equal opportunity, harassment, and non-discrimination. Today I have with me our General Counsel for Delaware State University, Tom Preston, and our new Vice President of Student Affairs, Stacey Downing, who is also our Title IX Coordinator, which is heavily involved with this document. Folks, I'm so glad that you're here today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Tell me and the viewers, what is this One Policy, One Process document? What is this?
It is an anti-discrimination policy and a new process for handling claims made by anyone in the DSU community of discrimination.
Mm-hmm. Now, it seems to me to be a very comprehensive policy. It deals with issues of discriminatory harassment, both bias-related and sexual, all kinds of sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, non-consensual sexual intercourse, non-consensual sexual contact, sexual exploitation. It makes it very clear this concept of consent and how this plays into it. It talks about ADA compliance, retaliation. Has there ever been as comprehensive a document where these types of offenses are concerned here at Delaware State University?
Not to our knowledge. We started from scratch on this one.
Mm-hmm. So the goal was to make it as comprehensive as possible.
Absolutely.
It says one policy, one process. So this is kind of a document where you might have different scenarios, but the university is going to address these in a similar way, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
And it's supposed to apply to everyone in the community.
So not just students.
Not just students, not just students and staff, not just students and staff and faculty, but everyone in our community, visitors, parents. If they come on this campus and they commit a violation of a discriminatory nature, they'll be subject to this policy and process.
What else makes this document unique?
Well, I think the involvement of what we call the Equity Resolution Panel and the Title IX Coordinator and her deputies is a completely new concept for this campus.
Stacey, what is the Equity Resolution?
It's a group of faculty and staff that come together to deal with complaints, talk about our issues, and really enforce that policy to make sure that the university is going to be well educated on the policy and give insight, because with policies we have to monitor and adjust. So again, to implement that policy and make sure that we're staying on track and being in compliant with some state federal regulations.
Now, this gives guidance in terms of how we report this, who
Yes.
we report this to, but ultimately this lands on your desk, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a Title IX coordinator, my major responsibility is ensuring first that the university is really responding effectively to complaints that we receive. And after that, we're ensuring that our victims and the perpetrators, alleged perpetrators, are receiving due process. So we'll do an investigation to see where that leads us, and then ultimately making sure that we track those incidents, monitor those incidents. So if there's ever a situation where OCR comes in, that we're able to really address some of the incidents that have occurred on our campus. So being a Title IX coordinator, again, my major responsibility, again, is making sure that we're really responding to these complaints that we receive and bringing resolution.
Mm-hmm. What is the issue of confidentiality? How does that play in all this?
It is critically important that any person who's been victimized by any kind of discrimination be confident that he or she's privacy is recognized and protected to the full extent possible. And that's what our policy is designed to do. Now, it's important to understand that if somebody is victimized in a violent way, we can't probably keep that totally confidential. We have
Because
to
of the
find
criminal
that.
nature of it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We have to find that person and get them off the campus and, if it's appropriate, in jail.
And if they're not arrested, then we have a situation where we've got to let the community know that a perpetrator's out there.
Exactly.
We may
Early
not
warning.
identify the victim, but we got to let them know that somebody's out there
Exactly
and there's
right.
a threat out there. People need to be aware.
But if it's not to that level, we will do, and the ERP, the Equity Resolution Panel, will do everything it can to investigate and eliminate the discrimination without revealing the name of the victim.
This is a fairly new policy. I think it went into effect this summer in,
Correct.
in June. I guess there's an education that has to go with this. What are we doing to make our community, our faculty, staff, and students aware of this policy and how this would work in case they have an issue that they need addressed in this area?
And what we're doing as a Title IX coordinator, deputy Title IX coordinators, we're creating a training schedule because we think that's going to be one of the better approaches to educating our DSU community. We've started with our students, student leaders, incoming students, doing different types of presentations. Now we're going to work to see what type of presentations we'll also do with our faculty and staff. We're using our website as a resource. We want our website to be a working resource for when people come to look to see what we're doing as a community, to use it also as an educational tool.
Carlos, so just to add to that, we're also meeting with the presidents of all of the unions on campus and explaining what this involves and why it's helpful to their members. We will have a Title IX website on which we will post educational materials and training materials. So a student who wants to, or a faculty member who wants to learn more about this, will find that material readily available.
So there's some ongoing work
Yes.
that's going on to get this information out.
It will never be over. We're required to do this every year.
Right. I guess there's a certain statement that the university is making with this policy. What is that statement?
To me, the statement means that we're taking this issue very seriously, and we want to be proactive, making sure that we stay ahead of complaints or stay ahead of things when they occur, that the university is prepared to respond effectively. We know that many institutions are, facing some serious situations, and what we want to do is to ensure that we don't get in those same type of predicaments. So that's why we're being very proactive. The policy creates an umbrella effect that covers, again, as Mr. Preston said, any individual who steps on this campus. So again, I think, we're a couple steps ahead of the game in doing what we're doing, and so we don't have to play a catch-up game. So again, we're demonstrating our commitment to this issue and how we're going to be serious about bringing resolution and, combating the whole issue of sexual harassment and discrimination.
Well, it sounds like we're on the cutting edge. Now, if people want to see this document, I believe right now it's under Student Affairs, and it may be some other places later on, but it's under Student Affairs. What is the document called under Student Affairs? Sexual misconduct?
The sexual misconduct policy, you click on that, that will have another link to one policy, one process.
Okay, so
And that's the actual policy there.
and so
And also, individuals can do a search on our website, type in Title IX, a series of things pop in, so they can also click on those links as they do that type of search on our website.
okay.
Last thing is we are preparing a booklet which will go to press in the next few days, which will be available for every student, faculty member, and staff member. And that, while it won't have the entire policy, will give a very good summary of it.
If there's any questions on these types of offenses, I suppose one policy, one process provides some education in terms of what is harassment, what is
Indeed.
sexual harassment, that type of thing, what is retaliation.
And
What's
also the
consent?
website.
Yeah.
Right. It also tackles the interesting and somewhat very touchy matter of, we call it fraternization. And, we work in an environment, sometimes people start relationships with each other in the environment, but sometimes that can be problematic when it's maybe somebody with someone else in a supervisory capacity. The policy even deals with that, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And it essentially says we don't encourage that as a university, but if it happens, you simply have to report the existence of the relationship to your supervisor so that the supervisor and HR can be sure that there's no untoward influence relating to a supervisor subordinate.
And that's a
situation.
requirement.
That is a requirement.
That's a requirement. Well, we think that it's a good policy that everyone needs to educate themselves on, and that's what we decided to have this segment to focus on: one policy, one process. So if you should be interested in it here at Delaware State University, and we encourage you to go to the Student Affairs website, click on the sexual misconduct link there, and it will take you to another page in which it will have the one policy, one process document. And that's 28 pages.
28 pages.
28 pages of some good information that I think everybody should have here at Delaware State University. Mr. Preston, Dr. Downing, thank you so much for joining me here.
Carlos, thank you.
Thank you for
DSU.
having us.
And thank you for being a part of this segment of DSU Inside Perspective. Have a good day now.